Welcome back to the channel, guys, and you join me for the F1 2019 career mode. This is part number 7, and it is the Monaco Grand Prix, the jewel in the crown of the Formula 1 calendar. Got that right after the blooper at the end of the last video. Hope you have enjoyed the career mode so far. You know, and Spain is always one of my turning points for my career modes. I mean, this season started off really well, so I've got really no complaints there. But we had a good race in the wet, and I don't tend to have good races in the wet, so I'm actually kind of excited going into this one. Now, of course, this one is a bit of a challenge, so we did get that engine power upgrade come through, the minor upgrade for the spark plugs, and that's a minor power upgrade coming into Monaco, which doesn't really, you know, use too much power, so don't know how much of an impact it's going to have around here, but for circuits later on in the calendar, it's a better way for us to develop into the tree, so when we get to places like Germany and Silverstone and Belgium and Italy, so it's good to get that on board now. Looking at it as well, it's going to be sunny in qualifying, overcast for the race, but no more rain, which, you know, rain in Monaco can be a bit of a catastrophe, as it were. Anyway, let's take a little look at the development charts so far and see if anyone has bought anything to Monaco, and indeed they have. So Renault bring their second upgrade of the season to re-overtake Haas. Haas did also bring another upgrade, but just not as good as Renault's one, so they squeak past them at fourth in the standings. Racing Point are fine. We've jumped ahead of McLaren in the chart, and Alfa Romeo have bought an upgrade, meaning they are now back ahead of Williams. So it's now, we're really getting into a big development race with everyone here, so I'm looking forward to how this is going to work out, and it'll be good to review sort of around Germany time where the cars started and where they ended up. But enough of me waffling on about cars. It's time for one of the most important sessions of the season, quali at Monaco.
We're here at the magical Circuit de Monaco for one of the most challenging qualifying sessions on the Formula 1 calendar. Who can add their name to the illustrious list of Monte Carlo pole sitters here today?
Beautiful place, Monaco, and this is us at the end of our first lap, going through the swimming pool section. It's one of the best sections of track on the whole calendar just to get right. We're 8 or so tenths up on Sergio Perez, but I've just clouted the wall on the exit of the swimming pool there, and it's cost me some time through Raskas and Anthony Nogues. So instead of being 8 tenths up on Sergio Perez, we're going to come across the line. It's a 1:13.2. We're still ahead of Raikkonen and Perez, but we definitely could have gone faster. So of course we've come in, we've got the car fixed up, and we're out for another run. We're currently P14 after our first effort, and this is going to be our best lap in the session. How do we do? Turn 1 into Saint-Devote, be big and take chances with the curb. You know, little asterisk next to that one. Anyway, it's actually cost of time compared to our Delta. However, up the hill into Massenet, get that front end in, wait for it to hook up, and then turning confidently into Casino Square. And then we charge down towards the Mirabeau. It's only 600ths up so far. It's a 10th down on Verstappen's provisional pole first sector. Then into the Lowe's hairpin. The name of the hotel has changed, but that's what I call it because that's what I remember. Anyway, Delta fluctuating a little bit through this section, through Portier. I took it a lot tighter than I normally would. That's cost me time on exit. So now we're charging down towards the Nouvelle chicane, brushing the wall as well. It's been a scrappy lap at the moment, but you know, we're trying to make up the time where we can, and we've definitely made some up through the chicane. 3.5 tenths up now. Charles Leclerc does a 1:11.8 through to back. Committed, used the space on exit. Through swimming pool now. Maximum commitment. Try and keep it out the wall, and I've just approached it a bit more careful that time around. Took a bit more curb, and then through Raskas. Keep it nice and tight on exit, and then just try and turn in tighter into Anthony Nogues. That was much better. Not on the curb, on the exit, and we're charging down. We've run out of ERS, but we charge towards the line, and that puts us provisionally P7. Lovely spot to start the race. It means we're going to start on the soft tyre if we finish there. We actually end up finishing 9th, and Charles Leclerc, the Monegasque driver, on pole position for his home Grand Prix. We start 9th, Albon 13th, and if we look at China in hindsight, is that a good place to be? Let's find out in the race.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. It's got to be a relief to qualify that far up the grid.
It is and it isn't. I suppose, like I say, we need to see how the soft tyre holds out and how that's going to impact our strategy tomorrow. But, you know, it's good to see the performance of the car.
You left some body work out there on the track. Were you struggling for grip?
No, just a mistake of mine, taking too much curb and unsettling the car through the swimming pool, and that's where I left the wing on the floor. Really, there's nothing more to say.
Appreciate your time.
A proper road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That was how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half-century, but still we race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean Sea. There's no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. Anthony Davidson, a very warm welcome to you as you join me in the commentary box for today's event. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. As with all the drivers at this level, they have a lot of ambition, but Formula One's a daunting step up from any other series, so expectations are high right from the start.
And this is something that has ended the career of many a young driver, as that leap up to Formula One proves to be too much. But luckily in this case, I'd say they're doing a good solid job, and the risk the team took in signing them is definitely starting to pay off.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Hamilton, Pierre Gasly, and Bottas, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, the captain, and Roman Grosjean, Perez, Butler, Alexander Albon, and Faber, Norris, Stroll, Kimi Raikkonen, and George Russell. Kubica and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, so here we are at the Monaco Grand Prix, and yeah, kind of what I figured with the strategy starting on the soft tyre. It's telling me that 2 stops is the best way to go, and I really don't want to do that. in all honesty, I think track position is very important, so it's about considering running that soft tyre and then really trying to push that on for a 1 stop if possible. I know it's not the ideal strategy, but really that's what we're going to have to consider, because you know track position is so important around here. But look, that 1 stop is a full 26 seconds slower than that 2 stop, and that's just because of the lap times that we're going to see. So I don't know, it's going to be an interesting one. So I've kind of customized the first strategy as the 1 stop to sort of see where we're at, but I'm still going to predictively go for the 2. At this point I was so umming and ahhing, just thinking like what is best. I honestly probably could have sat there doing some number crunching and some maths and all day, but it's not about that. It's about what we can do on the track. So we're going to get into it. 2 stop or 1 stop, it doesn't really matter. It's about not sticking it in the barrier while giving it absolutely anything round the streets of Monaco. So let's go down to the track and build to those red lights, of which there are now 5 on for the Monaco Grand Prix. Lights are out. Away we go. It's a good start initially. Hülkenberg and Ricciardo looking to be side by side into turn 1. I've got Grosjean on the outside. I'm going to take to the curb on the inside and actually have a little bit of contact with him on exit. We're going to try and drag race up the hill. Well, he's going to try and drag race me in to Massenet. Ricciardo trying to attack Bottas ahead of us there. Then slots in Hülkenberg in 8th. We retain 9th position just ahead of Roman Grosjean. Hopefully we haven't got any damage. And I'm going to dive down the inside of Hülkenberg, who is a little bit napping into the mirror boat. Can we out-traction him on the exit? Yes, we can. So that's actually dispatched one of the Renaults. And of course our objective for today is going to be try and get best of the rest, because if we've started P9, if we can get ahead of the Renaults early, then I don't see why that would be an issue. But slow through Anthony Nogues.
We're looking at some gearbox wear. Try to keep your number of shifts to a minimum.
So we've been given a heads up about gearbox wear, something to factor in for this Grand Prix, seeing as we've still got 37 laps to go. Let's see if that's going to hamper us later on in the race. I certainly hope not, but we've lost out a bit of time to Daniel Ricciardo, who's hanging on to the Mercedes better than I considered. Tyres are already 30% worn. Grosjean's fallen a long way back, though, so it appears to be Ricciardo is in 3 seconds up the road. It's me and Hülkenberg really fighting for P8 at the moment, and then we'll see what happens later on in the Grand Prix. But you can see tyres now, front left especially, at 41% wear, and it's really starting to affect the grip and the speed that I'm able to carry through the swimming pool. You can sort of see I didn't really want to turn the wheel too much there over the curbs because I was scared of what might have happened. So hold my hands up, you know, definitely pushing track limits. But Hamilton and Vettel already into the pit, so they're definitely on a 2-stopper. That moves us up into 6th place. And, of course, the team wants us in at the end of this lap. So this is where I need to make the decision. Do we go for the 1 or do we go for the 2-stopper? Cars ahead are diving in. So I figured, well, if the cars ahead are diving in, we might as well go for the 2 because we do have a lot of space behind us. You know, I was worried about track position due to how we're actually going to filter out, especially in that giant train. So where are we going to come out? That's the question. We come in, tyres changed, Daniel Ricciardo's away, I'm away, 2.3 seconds. Where's Ricciardo going to filter out? I think he's going to be ahead of the train. Us, on the other hand, I don't think we're going to do it. No, there goes Grosjean, Butler, Perez, Albon. Up the inside of turn 1, we're ahead of Albon, but we just slot out behind Sergio Perez, and that is unfortunate. That's not where I needed to be. We needed, for this strategy to work, we needed to be ahead of this train. And look at just how busy it is through Casino Square. I need to make some moves sooner rather than later, and I'm already diving down the inside of Sergio Perez into the mirror road, pushing him nearly into the wall. And I'm so upset with myself that I've come out stuck in this train. Thankfully, there's only 2 more cars in it, which are Grosjean and Butler, and by the end of the lap, I am harrying Devon Butler through the swimming pool. Can we make a move on him into La Rascasse? He's definitely left the door open, and we've definitely fought our way through. Grosjean goes into the pits, pulls in front of me, nearly damages my car. But where has Hulkenberg fed out in all this? He was behind me ahead of the stops. How much time have I lost in the train? Has it cost me the position? I think we're going to find out answer. Yes, it has. And Hulkenberg is on another set of soft compound tyres.
You're causing unnecessary wear to your transmission. Try to take it easy, or you risk losing it.
Okay, so that's another notification I've received in this Grand Prix about my transmission. So I'm concerned at some point we're going to lose some gears and have some gearbox issues. But let's not worry about that right now. Right in 9th place, we've done our first pit stop of the Grand Prix. We've got another one to go. We're currently on for a very good personal best lap of the Grand Prix. I doubt, honestly, I'm going to keep in touch with Hulkenberg because he's now, of course, on the soft compound tyre. So it's about building that gap to the cars behind me as I'm very tight through La Rascasse, nearly rotating the car, actually. I had to come off the steering. So DRS is open. We're going to come across the line to set a new personal best of a 1:15.8, and we just need to build the gap behind and just keep pushing. We're burning off any excess fuel we have, and we're low on ERS, but you can see it here through the swimming pool, maximum attack mode, and through now La Rascasse. We're on for a personal best once again, and all the top guys are really pushing on with their lap times. 14.2 there from Bottas. So Charles Leclerc, even though he started first, not necessarily got that in the bag, and I'm trying to keep in touch with Hulkenberg as we do a 15.3, but he's 2.1 up the road on the soft tyres, and we move on to lap 15 now, and everyone else appears to have fallen behind.
A mechanical issue means you've lost one of the gears. Say again, you have lost access to one of the gears.
So we fast forwarded a little bit, and we've just been told we've lost one of the gears. I didn't quite catch what it was as we were breaking into the mirror, but I certainly hope it's not a low-speed gear. We've got first gear, second gear, third gear. We've got no DRS, so that's great. So we've still got third, fourth. We've lost fifth gear. As we try and accelerate through the tunnel, we've lost fifth gear. So I don't know how much that's going to impact us on our overall lap time. It's certainly, of course, not ideal because we're going to be utilising fifth gear. Obviously, coming out of the chicane, coming out of Portier, definitely down the main straight, we're going to see it. So what's our lap time? On a lap where we've lost the gear, it's a 16.5. It's not ideal, but Butler's not really catching us. He's not really close enough to make an impact. So we can now come to the end of lap 18. And we're accelerating. We've got Bottas in the pits. We've got fifth gear back as well, which is nice. So Bottas coming out. He's made his second pit stop of the race. And he's going to filter out behind me in 8th place. So realistically, I could have an impact here on whoever was battling Bottas in this race. If it was sort of Leclerc, or if it was like Verstappen or Gasly, I could certainly do the guys up the sharp end, you know, in the big boy team, the big Red Bull team, a favour. So Bottas up behind me. Gasly is coming out the pit, so I haven't held him up for Gasly to be able to jump him, but he's going to be close as Bottas tries to pass me into turn 1 and passes me very successfully. He was a lot quicker that time around, but it's lap 20. We've had one gearbox issue. Let's try and not have another one, but Bottas has disappeared down the road And now Pierre Gasly is up behind me. Realistically, I really don't want to hold him up, so I'm going to try and make it as easy for him to pass me as it was for Bottas. But through turn 1, Gasly wasn't able to get as far ahead of me. So I'm looking behind. I'm seeing where Gasly is. And he's going to have a little look, by the looks of things, into the Nouvelle Chicane. Gasly makes a late move, and he's turned off, left him the space, and he's rotated himself round. Oh, Pierre Gasly. I left you the space. I was thinking if he's committed to the move here, don't turn in on a Red Bull if you're a Toro Rosso driver. So left him plenty of space, turned in late, and he's clipped the barrier of his own accord and spun himself around. Look at that from obviously the offboard. Now you're going to see it on the onboard. So he's committed to the move here. I've left him the room. He's turned in and just that back corner of the car. And he has, well, he's made a right mess of that one. And I don't really think I can be blamed there because, well, I left him the space. And I certainly didn't turn in on him. Anyway, Hulkenberg has made his other pit stop. He's now behind me on the road. I was looking at my tyre wear. We're unfortunately in the 18s at the moment, so pit window is open. I could have boxed that lap, but I'm thinking about stretching these tyres to the end of the race, especially now considering Daniel Ricciardo is coming out the pits. Can we try and take the position off Daniel Ricciardo? He's just going to get... Oh, that was close between myself and Daniel Ricciardo, but he's just squeezed ahead of me, and he's managed to pull out an entire pit stop on me over the course of the race. Daniel Ricciardo, you know, the master of Monaco, realistically. The guy does very well around here. Had victory taken away from him by his team in 2016, and he defended very well in 2018 to get that win. The car not really performing, though, as the tyres wear out. I've now got Hulkenberg behind me, challenging for P7. He's going to try and move into the Nouvelle Chicane. I'm going to brake late. I'm going to go across the curb. It's very wheel-to-wheel with Hulkenberg. I think we've just about managed to retain that position. He's on the inside of Tabak, and Hulkenberg with his elbows out. Fantastic move through Monaco. That was good racing there, and I've taken some liberties on the curb. I tried to try and kind of like switch back underneath him to try and make a move in Raskas, and that's why I got off the throttle. I was thinking there's no way that's going to be a legal overtake if I pass him. So got off the throttle. That kept Hulkenberg in play, and now we have one Pierre Gasly back up behind me. But now instead of battling me for, what was it, 5th place, 6th place, it is now 8th place after Gasly's wee little spin. I wonder if he's got any floor damage and if he's moving any slower. But I'm just going to go wide in Massenet. Gasly's going to try and stick it up the inside. But I haven't got the traction out of Casino Square, and that means Gasly is going to get the move done. And the car's dead. The tyres are dead. And I've just got no pace at the moment, really, so I don't really think I'm going to be able to get this set of soft tyres through to the end of the race. But, you know, we will soldier on, and that's what we're doing at the end of lap 25. I've realised they're not going to make it, so I'm coming into the pits, and let's strap on a fresh set of boots to go to the end of the race. I did have a bit of a gap to Albon, who I don't know if he's got to stop again. I want to say he's going to be doing a one-stop. Here we go. Fresh boots on the car. So Albon's going to get through and he's going to pass me for P9. Norris might come through to get me for P10. But he is on the medium tyres. And you can see here that my fresh mediums I've been able to catch right up to the back of Lando Norris very quickly. We've got DRS. Not saying I'm going to be able to challenge him into Saint-Devote, but look at how much pace we've got on the fresh tyre. And we should hopefully be able to attack Norris. Butler behind on the hard compound tyre. It really hasn't worked out for Devon Butler this afternoon, but we're still chasing Norris at the end of partway through lap 29. I need to try and make a move on him sooner rather than later. Mirabeau is one of my favourite places to try. Norris parks it in the middle of the road and gets it slowed down, so clearly he knew or thought about maybe the move was coming, but not able to get through here, and then you're really following until you're going through the tunnel into the Nouvelle Chicane, which is exactly where we're doing now, and we're just not close enough to Norris. I've got the confidence under braking, and I've got the corner speed, as you can see, through the chicane, riding the curbs, but Norris just doesn't have any mid-corner speed at the moment, whereas we've got all the mid-corner speed, and if there's going to be one place I can try and get him, it's if we straighten up through here and get him into La Rascasse, and the door could have been open, but he was definitely more in position there than his teammate Devon Butler was earlier on in the Grand Prix, where we passed him into La Rascasse. Let's try and get the boot out of Anthony Nogue. Slipstream, DRS, into Saint-Devote. Answer, no. And we're still behind Norris a good few laps later. And we're trying to pass him. Once again, the middle of the road into the Mirabeau. Double lock-up from Lando Norris, trying to get it slowed down, and that was a half a sniff at P10 and some World Championship points. Not able to get through on the young British driver, and quite frankly, don't blame him. Both of us, of course, stepping up this year from F2 into Formula 1. Norris, of course, the McLaren, and myself in the Red Bull, but we're once again in that slipstream, and now we're trying to follow him through the final bit of the lap. And can we try? No, the car was out of position. We slid over the curb, not able to get the power down, and we weren't able to pass him into Larascas. Now lap 31, and once I pass Norris, I've got my teammate to try and chase after. So we're running out of laps here in this Grand Prix. That was better from me. Can we try and make a move? Answer is no. We got very close. Under braking. Albon, however, is in the pits. Alex Albon comes in. Wonder why. Maybe a slow puncture, and he's going to swap to the soft tire and be very quick at the end of this race. But that's now moved us, of course, into P10. So now we're battling Norris for P9 and 2 World Championship points.
Okay, at the current pace and fuel settings, we won't have enough fuel for the end of the race. Consider lowering the fuel mix.
So Jeff's giving it to me in the ear because, of course, 8 laps left to go if you include the one we're on. I don't have enough to get to the end, but I need to get past Lando Norris. So I'm hassling him, and I'm using all the tools at my disposal, and Norris has been able to pull away, through lap 32, because I realised I might not make it to the end of the race. Oh, and look at my gears. They're not going down. Oh, is this more gearbox woes? Look, out of to back, it's just not upshifting. And it goes up to 6th on turn into the swim. We've got more gearbox issues.
Okay, this is Jeff. Update on the car. The gearbox is damaged. Gearbox is damaged. You'll likely find gear changes slower.
Fine, gear changes slower. Did you see how it made the car behave coming out of Anthony Noakes? I was all over the place. I'm lucky to not be out of the Grand Prix at this point anyway.
Gap to teammate behind is 11.8 seconds.
Well, with only 7 laps to go, I don't think that's enough. Is there any way I can fix this gearbox? So, going into the race, it said we were going to have some issues, and we did. We lost 5th gear earlier in the Grand Prix, and now we've lost 2nd gear. Don't know if you saw that. We jumped straight from 1st to 3rd into the Lowe's hairpin, and the gears won't change. This is an absolute nightmare.
Okay, bad news on the gearbox. The team are trying everything they can think of, but they're not optimistic. Just keep at it and do your best. That's all we can ask.
So Butler streaked ahead of me, and I've got a car that just won't change gear. Alex Albon made a pit stop 3 laps ago, and he's already made that entire pit stop back up on me due to my gearbox issues and being on fresh soft tyres. I'm just going to get off the racing line and get out of his way. And Albon up into P10. He might even be able to chase down Devon Butler, who's on the hard tyre, and get 2 points for Toro Rosso this afternoon. Meanwhile, I looked like at one point could have been fighting for P6, P7. Now, unfortunately, has a car that is now changing gears again. So lap 34, it's changing gears, but we're getting a blue flag. So that's going to be Charles Leclerc or Sebastian Vettel. I know it's a Ferrari. Anyway, we're going to be getting out of their way, and they're well up the road now. So we're on to lap 38. We're P11 still. Albon has managed to get past Devon Butler by the looks of things, which is at least good news for him. That's going to be 2 points to Toro Rosso. Lando Norris is now 1.2 seconds behind me, and if you factor in here when he pit, well, we realistically shouldn't be just in front of him, but looks like trying to run a bit too worn gearbox, considering the amount of changes you make per lap here at Monaco. Really wasn't the best idea, and that's cost us points today, but at least I'll battle Norris for pride for P11 as we come into the Nouvelle Chicane, but a little bit gutted coming away from this performance. This is, of course, going to be our last lap of the race, lap 38. We have been lapped, and it is Charles Leclerc, the Monegasque driver, to be a winner in Formula 1 again. Take a win at his home Grand Prix. P11, disappointed.
Nice work, you did well today. I think the boss will be happy with that one.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So there you have it. Charles Leclerc wins the Monaco Grand Prix by 3 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen. Then Lewis Hamilton some 11 seconds back in P3. Valtteri Bottas P4 for Mercedes did about as well as he could, all things considered. Vettel dropped to P5 from P3 on the grid. Ricciardo, really good, only 10 seconds behind a Ferrari on the same strategy. Hulkenberg, a long way behind his teammate in 7th. Then came Gasly down in P8, and that was really self-inflicted by him. And Alex Albon, the last guy to finish on the lead lap, and 2 points for Toro Rosso. So that's really good to see. Butler, unfortunately, beat me to the last point due to my gearbox issues, but it is what it is, unfortunately. Leclerc jumps ahead of Gasly in the driver's standings, back up to P5 thanks to his second win of the season. But other than that, he hasn't exactly been a lucky boy. We remain on 23 points, but it's good to see Albon on the board, matching Weber on points. And Daniel Ricciardo now jumps up to 17 points, just behind me in the standings. Constructors-wise, Renault have now jumped from 7th to 5th. They're on 28 points, Haas on 27, and we Toro Rosso on 25. So a big scrap for 5th in the constructor standings. And can any of us catch Racing Point to get that elusive P4? So frustrating. I'm sure Claire's going to want to know more about our race.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
Not really.
That was a close duel with Devon. How are you planning to come out on top of your rivalry?
Be faster and hopefully not have any more gearbox issues. That's what cost me today.
Not a good race for Lucas. How do you think he'll be feeling about not finishing?
I think he is one of those guys that's quite stubborn. He'll take it on the chin and improve next time.
It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it?
No, between my gearbox issues and between a few light scuffs, I mean, come on.
Appreciate your time.
God, the fury in which I pressed no comment there. Anyway, we're looking at a major weight reduction upgrade. That will come into effect for the French Grand Prix. So I'm hoping to be competitive there, because on last year's game, that was a good track for me. But I've heard mumblings that the AI are very fast there this year. So we shall see. Spoiler alert also as well. I'm just going to let you guys know that I am releasing these a bit out of order. You can see that we're going to get a major upgrade, 2 major upgrades for the French Grand Prix. Now, I recorded all these videos. I am way behind with them. I recorded all of them some time ago. This is still the original patch of the game. So, even though at this point of recording I haven't released the French Grand Prix, it was recorded before they patched it for the new pit lane entry. So, I'm letting you guys now know that ahead of time, and I'll probably mention that in that recording as well, because reasons. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed today's video. I certainly didn't. Well, I enjoyed recording it, making it, and I hope you guys enjoy it, but I didn't enjoy the gearbox issues and not getting points. Nonetheless, if you have enjoyed, please leave a like and comment any feedback down below. If you want to be kept up to date with all the content that comes to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and enabling those notifications. And I will see you all next time.